Good afternoon. Very happy to be back during this World Dairy Summit in Paris. I'm very proud to welcome Mr. Paul Tompkins. Good morning, Mr. Tompkins.
Thank you, Laura.
Good afternoon, let's say.
Yes, already.
Good afternoon. We will talk, of course, about dairy farms and chain in UK. And as for other countries, we interviewed Senegal, Zimbabwe, or Canada. The idea is to better know these countries in terms of production, also consumption, and also processing, of course, and what is all about in these countries. Mr. Paul Tompkins is both. First, he's a farmer. He's a farmer in north-east of England.
Yeah, that's important, isn't it? Most of my time is farming.
Yeah, most of his time is in the farm. Milk producer, of course. He has in his farm 450 cows, and he's growing about 250 hectares, mainly grass, maize or corn, a bit of wheat, and 50% of the land is owned and 50 is rent. But he has also another job or mandate. He is part of the National Farmer Union in UK, and is the chairman of the dairy board. And Paul, you will talk under this mandate of chair of the dairy board. Of course, you can give examples about your farm if you wish. First question, Mr. Tompkins. What are the trends in dairy farms in UK? Are you getting more farms? Are you getting bigger farms? Are you getting even more technical farms, new technologies? What are the trends at production level?
Yeah, it's a great question, Lauren. And I'm not going to give you away my age, but I will tell you that all of my adult life, the trajectory has been the same. And that is that farms in the UK are consolidating. So they're getting larger, but the amount of milk that we produce is, as a nation, is remaining pretty static.
Okay.
So a good example is around 4 years ago, the average UK dairy farm produced around 1.5 million litres of milk a year. And today that's about just over 1.7 million litres.
Okay,
so it shows that farms are just getting slightly bigger, but like you say, also investing heavily in automation. So we see a lot more technology coming onto UK farms also.
Grading in technology and consolidating and getting larger farms, but could also justify these investments.
Which are expensive.
Things are related. So we get this trend in production. We've seen different trends in Europe and in France regarding organic production. What is the situation in UK? Is organic production growing, stable? Did it decrease as we've seen in France over the past few years?
So yeah, it's fair to say that organic production has had a difficult few years. We produce around 1 million litres of organic milk a day in the UK, which sounds a lot, but actually it's around 8% down on this time last year. And last year was also a poor year for milk production. And the reason for that is because of costs. Like accessing organic feed is very difficult in the UK, and those costs have been very expensive. On the opposite side of that, we've also got, through the cost of living crisis, as food has become more expensive, we've noticed that consumers have traded down or started buying products that aren't organic, and therefore the demand is also falling away.
Conventional that were at cheaper price.
So we have seen some farms in the UK switch to conventional production, which is difficult because of course we know that going the other way is very difficult.
Yeah, it takes time.
But there are some glimmers of hope. In recent months, so since the beginning of this year, we've seen a small uptick in the amount of organic food being purchased in the UK.
So hopes, at
absolutely.
least we were probably the down part of it. What about the infrastructures? We were talking about production level, organic, also as a type of products. What about processors? Is it also under consolidation? Are you getting new factories? What are the changes in, I don't know, how to collect the milk? What are the trends at this level of the chain?
Yeah, so it's a very question of the moment in the UK, because we are seeing less processors. About the top 8 processors nearly buy all of our milk. There are more, but the vast majority goes to those top 8. But we are seeing them invest in the UK, so quite it's quite an exciting time, as we've seen the major milk processors spending on more stainless steel, more production capability, looking at different products and brands. We've just seen an investment in mozzarella development, whey products, ingredients, drying facilities. So it's an exciting time from the processing sector. But of course, we've got this challenge, haven't we, Lauren, all the time, where as the requirement for more processing comes online, it's matching that demand, but not overshooting it, or indeed undershooting
so
it.
Between the chicken and the egg,
That's right, which is always our challenge, isn't it? How do we just meet demand, but not overdo it, overcook it, so that, because we know what happens then, of course, the milk price plummet, and we all suffer.
It could go down again. Regarding what you are saying in terms of investment, also is it, you say we are now seeing investment in different types of product you were referring to. Usually the traditional market was, as you indicated, fresh milk.
That's right, yeah. So
and,
we like.
Do you see a shift in terms of products or in terms of consumption?
Yeah, so we like our tea in the UK, and we drink our fresh milk in tea, but we also drink it in lots of other things. So fresh milk remains our #1 use for milk. And so, but it's a very perishable product, of course. However, it's true to say that all of my adult life again, we've probably seen a very small decline year on year in the consumption of liquid milk, but rising in other dairy products like innovation, so cheese products or yogurts or creams is growing. So the consumer habits are changing, albeit quite slowly.
Okay, so we see the balance between the different products that is
we're able to, yes, but we're able to, and because it's happening over a period of time, we're able to shift our processing to match those needs.
Also, we were referring to infrastructure earlier. The time to invest, to build new machines, buildings, and so on is long. There is a lot of money behind. How is it matching with these changes that could go fast? You talked about production, but also investment in infrastructure. How to manage this?
On farm as well, and this is the challenge, Lauren, is the return, the amount of money that's needed now on a UK farm to invest in infrastructure to keep the farm in a place where it can continue producing milk. It's so big, we're adding zeros and zeros on the end of the invoice, that it means that the confidence that farmers need to continue doing that is really important. So, but we're seeing that confidence being knocked. And that's what's concerning me, is where those knocks are coming from. And there's lots of places like the market and consumer habits, like we've touched on, but also government policy and how we go ahead supporting farmers in the future, all are taking their toll on knocking that confidence.
And in order to go against this lack of confidence, are there contracts or agreements that could be sign with the processors to secure the level of price? Is it an issue?
It's a great question for right now as well, Laurent, because we have just introduced a new piece of legislation in the UK which formalizes or sets out criteria for the contract agreement between a farmer and a processor. So by next July, July 2025, all processors in the UK must have a contract that meets this new piece of legislation. So it's a period of change, but we hope that the outcome of that will be a more professional relationship, more professional, secure relationship between those two partners, because we do both need one another in order to all
criteria will be written, so specifications will be written, and if you respect it, the price should be granted.
That's right, absolutely,
yeah. So which is a trend we see, and which is not always easy. It was mainly in France in relation to retailers, where the difficulties were also over the last years.
We share those concerns as well. You know, retail, the retail market in the UK is very strong. It's a very competitive place to operate.
So it's also behind this. There is also the question of value share between farmers, processors and retailers. Of course, you have this.
And if I ask yes, very much so. And of course, it's the margin as well as the share. So, and we know from all analysis that the margin on dairy farms is very small. I think it's true to say in processors is also very small. maybe in retail is slightly larger, but this is the challenge that we have in so many different things, is if the margins are so small all the way through, where do we get the investment needed?
Yeah. So yeah, and you ask for, because we see the trend, because what we see also is on one hand, you get the request from consumers, environmental concerns, welfare.
Yeah.
You have all these requests that are coming from consumers, and on the other hand, you have your production constraints. You said before, a lot of investments to remain competitive or to match, or to how to live with these two contradictions, perhaps, I don't know.
They are contradictions, yeah. And I'm really I'm quite pleased to hear that you're facing the same issues over here, because it's very much being felt in the UK too. The UK shopper, and it's true to say NGOs, we call it, non-government organisations that have an influence in the UK, are asking more and more of dairy farmers. However, there's a caveat there, and you may see this too. When they go into the shop and where we see where they spend their money, they choose the lowest shelf price. So how do we meet those future expectations with whilst and where is the investment coming? Because there's only three places. It's either the shelf price, government, or the farmer's back pocket.
Yeah, you're right.
And we need clarity.
And do you get support? Not necessarily on that.
So
from government for what we said, this chance, this shift, this transformation. Are you getting financial support?
So since Brexit, it has obviously changed. The BPS payment that we would usually have got is falling year by year, and we know that by 2027 will be gone. So
no more support.
Instead, the government are offering money to do environmental good.
Okay.
So this is around good practice on farm, which helps the environment, but not necessarily food production.
Okay.
So that's the...
And this is signed, written, or is it under discussion, what you're saying?
Oh,
by 27?
This is signed.
So it's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely going to happen. The reduction rate happened. So this year, I received 50% less BPS than I would have done when we were inside the European Union. However, I will add that I have been able to make that up on my farm by doing things like cover crops and field margins, hedgerows get extra payments. So it's about
everything around.
It's about demonstrating that in return for this support money, I'm delivering something for the environment.
Okay. So it's kind of payment for these services too. What are the main challenges, according to you, dairy chain will face in the UK in the coming years?
So the hot topic, I would say at the moment, which will require some long-term planning, is around water and air quality. So this is what it's a very hot topic in the UK. Water quality, yeah. Okay. So and of course, dairy farms play a role in nutrient cycling through our animals and our feed and our fields and the food and humans. It all needs recycling. We're on a small island, and sometimes that condenses in our water courses. And water quality in the UK could be better. Some of that comes from the way we manage human effluent, but some of it is also traceable to dairy farms. So it's very much so. Governments are looking to introduce lots of new targets and policies that will make sure that water quality improves.
And you are part of it.
Yeah, but that might mean that there are constraints put on the amount of milk I can produce, or the number of cows, or what I do with the cow slurry. Is all very much being focused on at the moment. So it has a potential to have a very large impact on UK dairy farms.
Quotas or things like this, perhaps it could go then to thresholds or things like this?
Yeah, so it will be about a better use of slurry management, but also maybe some limits on how much can be put out on our land, or when it can be put on the land. It's of concern to many dairy farmers back in the UK.
So challenge number one, water quality. What are the others, if there are any?
Yeah, I could probably keep going all afternoon. It's okay. So we'll limit it a little bit. But I think carbon is obviously another one. We have sustainability has been a big topic of the discussion here today.
Yeah.
But sustainability means different things to different people
Yeah.
in different countries. In the UK, it's very much about environmental sustainability. So our carbon footprint, our environmental footprint, is very much under the microscope. We're being scrutinised about that all of the time. So that's very much on the agenda. But I'd like to bring that back to perhaps our topic discussion that we had earlier, is where do we get the investment needed to spend on farms to improve on all of these things, whether it's water quality, air quality, or our carbon footprint.
So, but yeah, in what you say, the scope is very broad. You have many priorities. Are you able to make these priorities, or are you able to achieve these ambitious goals you're describing?
It means having laser focus on one, the big ones first.
Okay.
And that's how we're going to address it.
Yeah.
And we are putting steps in place. So we have national programs. I could pick out one of those topics. So, for example, we have targets that every UK dairy farm will be carbon footprinting their own farm by the end of next year, in order to understand where they can make improvements.
It will be mandatory?
It will be a voluntary-based approach, but we still aim for a 100% compliance.
Wow. Okay.
And we have a farm assurance scheme in the UK, a bit similar to yours, where in order to sell your milk in the UK, you have to be farm assured. And that assurance, one of the ways in which we could use that in the future is by demonstrating our things like...
So some conditions to get access to that.
Absolutely, yeah, to sell your milk.
So first, water quality, carbon...
Carbon,
air, third?
We can keep going, of course.
No, top three.
Yeah, okay.
No, the third one.
Oh, okay, we can keep going. In that case, I'd say one of the things we've talked about today is about animal welfare.
Yeah.
And we're always we always have to demonstrate to our customers. So it's about that license to farm in many respects, giving our customers the reassurance that they can buy products from UK dairy farms, safe in the knowledge that it's safe, it's traceable, and that the animals have been farmed with some care.
To get or to build or restore or reinforce confidence of consumers?
Reinforce, give them permission to still enjoy dairy products.
Yeah, from UK. Last word, Paul.
Okay.
What would you say for all people that will be online looking at you on the UK dairy chain? What would you say or share with them?
I would say that we share a lot of concerns and opportunities. So what I've learned today is that no matter what part of the world you are dairy farming, you often face many of the same challenges, whether that be labour or environmental constraints, or actually just getting up in the morning to do the job. However, as we have shared concerns, there's probably shared ways in which we can address them. And actually much of what we need to do is consider ourselves as part of a global dairy platform. Yeah. We're here to offer an amazing product that's hugely nutritious, really going to be really important at providing nutrition to a growing world population. Yeah. We're fast heading towards 10 billion people on the planet, all with rising incomes, all with increased desire to consume more dairy products. So we've got an enormous potential to fill, but we're going to only do it if we can all work together.
See, this also means, in that case, letting this known better that milk or dairy product are, as such, very efficient nutrition.
Absolutely, the one thing, yeah, exactly. The most nutritious drink you or I could put in our mouths this afternoon per calorie is milk. And we can produce that from grass, which we can't eat. I mean, it's an amazing story. If I were to come up with this, if milk had never been invented, but I'd come to you today with the idea, we would all think it's the best thing in the world, and we should all be doing it. So we need to remind ourselves of that when we're talking about.
Not only to ourselves, to let it known by the most of us, or most of the population.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Paul.
It's been great. Thank you so much.
And I wish you a very good summit in Paris on, as you said, working partnership, benchmark with other people on the dairy chains having the same issues in other countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.